Okay, so I wait for a while to just confirm that things are working well because it takes little time before the LinkedIn and YouTube realizes that I am live. So just waiting and trying to hear me myself back if this works. Okay, so this seems to be working. Let me put this aside and put it here. So welcome everyone to our 12th session. And as we did before, I have a plan where I will present one of the tasks from your PMP exam content outline, PMI, like PMP ECO. Today, again, we are still sticking to our people domain because my goal is that after finishing the business, I want to finish the whole people domain and then probably venture into a process domain. We will see as things goes along. So welcome, David. Welcome to the session. Nice to see you here. Uh, Hi, Shritish, and nice to see you after a long time. Yeah, so I keep doing this live more or less every Friday, excluding the last Friday of the month. There also we do live session, but that live session is about certification, not about PMP. But this session is primarily focused on helping whoever is preparing for PMP certification to get things clarified. So the format remains the same. I take that task first, and then we talk about your queries. You may talk about your queries related to task or related to your generic PMP preparation. You feel free to get ready with your queries. So, but before that, let's learn something and let's see. Okay, so here is my sharing. I hope you all can see my screen. Yes, yeah, I see you all can see it. So as usual, reminding again that we need to focus more on exam content outline now, rather than focusing on PMBOK, any version of PMBOK 6, 7, whatever. Yeah, we should focus on ECO more. And in the exam content outline, we have a 14 tasks related to people domain. And today we are focusing on task number 4, empower team members and stakeholders. These people domain tasks are pretty much interrelated. It's all about creating the right environment, facilitating leadership, developing people. So overall, all those 14 tasks, in my view, help you in empowering team members and stakeholders. So it is not limited to these 4 sub items. But since we have been discussing other tasks and subtasks, they call it enabler in the respective videos. So I today focus on the 4 subtasks which are explained as a part of empowering team members and stakeholders. So that is something we are focusing on. But as you know, this is something which is throughout the people domain there. And as usual, if I refer you back to the principles, as we discussed sometime before as well, most of these principles which are falling under people domain will keep talking about creating a collaborative project team environment. So yes, in order to empower team and stakeholder, I need to create a collaborative environment. I need to be respectful, caring steward. So I need to focus on servant leadership. I need to care for people, team member, organization resources. I need to demonstrate leadership behavior, and leadership is all about growing others. Leadership is all about influencing others. So this task also includes that. And I need to keep engaging with these stakeholders. Maybe engagement is not directly linked to this particular task at least, but yeah, these 3 principles are pretty much linked with our task, which is in focus today. So let's get into a little bit detail. So organize around team strength. That's the first subtask around it. Then we will talk about, we are using different sequence than the enabler. We will explore determine best of levels of decision-making authority. And then we will explore supporting team task accountability and evaluate demonstration of task accountability. So all the 4 subtasks we will explore one by one. So let's start with first one, organize around team strengths. So the idea here is this particular quote tells us that we should create an environment where we can maximize the strength of the team, strength of individual, strength of their collective together, rather than fixing our predefined format, predefined roles and responsibility, and making them do things which are not as per their strength. So in order to achieve that, the goal of a project manager is I need to make best use of my team strength. I need to make a best use of their capability. I need to ensure that they collaborate with each other so that they support each other so that as a team they win. That's the idea. Now, how do I do that? So I can say in order to organize around team strength, I need to first identify the strength. So you can say that yes, we need to do some kind of activities as a project manager so that people can identify each other's strength. I can facilitate some team building activities so that people have a good introduction in the beginning of the project or whenever the new people are coming in. We can do a formal or informal assessment. There could be a formal assessment where you may take them to some kind of psychometric test, some kind of personality assessment in the agreement with them. That's also a part of people domain. So we understand the emotional capability of each and everyone and the decision making process and the personality. So that can help us in identifying who is good in which area so that we can organize the work accordingly. So that's a possibility. It could be done informally also by way of making people talk to each other, by way of making people share their experience and the thing which they have done in the past. So that is also help us in understanding and creating each other's strength awareness. We need to focus on diversity so that identifying strength, we want to have diversified strength coming forward. As a project manager, I need to give people enough time so that they develop trust, they develop understanding of each other. I may end up facilitating SWOT kind of analysis where people talk about strength, weakness, opportunity, threats. Many times you may hear that team members may not want to talk about their weaknesses. So yeah, it depends. Yeah, so it could be a possible tool, but in general, I need to facilitate conversation in the beginning of the project, especially so that we identify the strengths of our teams, and based on that we decide roles definition and roles and responsibility. So I identify the strength and we remain flexible in roles and definition rather than I just prescribe them that, okay, you are here and you need to do this. So we may have some organization recommendation related to roles and responsibility in the way we should work, but based on our team strength, we should be flexible. And that's the idea of a project manager. I need to look at my team strength more rather than just following something which is prescribed by my organization. So that's a flexibility in role definition. So we may have a overlapping roles where you may tell that, yeah, there are more than one person can fit into a one particular type of role. We may promote T-shaped professional where we allow people to develop in multiple skills. They may make best use of their core skills. They may develop some secondary skills which can also become as an asset whenever we have a situation which requires little more focus in that area. Roles can change over a period of time, so we are flexible in role definition because my idea is organized around team strength. Some people may acquire some strengths. We may need to give them opportunity to apply those strengths in our work and take a maximum benefit for the project. And I need to avoid single point of failure, which means I should not have a situation where one person can only do a one type of work. That can create a problem for my whole team, because my goal is that I take care of the whole team together. Now, these things are not one-time job. I hope that by now you already understand that in the project management, it's a continuous process. So continuous learning and development, continuously developing people by way of training, mentoring, coaching. So whenever developing comes, we can look at various options of training, mentoring, and coaching. We need to provide continuous feedback sessions, feedback with the help of retrospective, one-on-one feedback, and then improving their roles, improving their capability by way of developing them. So the idea of organizing around team strength in a general manner is we need to figure it out who does what. We need to have a clarity about roles and responsibility. But those clarity and those roles and responsibility should not be very, very stringent. Yeah, we are flexible because we are here to achieve best out of our people. That is the meaning of this particular enabler. Now, as a demonstration of these things, identification of strengths, roles, and responsibility and all, we might end up using RACI metrics, which can help us in identifying who is responsible, accountable, should be consulted and informed. You might already know. In a predictive life cycle, you may use a resource management plan, which clearly tells the roles and responsibility and details about it, may have an organization structure of the project as well. You may have a general roles and responsibility document, which could be a part of your resource management plan in case of predictive way of working. In case of predictive or adaptive way of working, we may have a team charter where team collaborate together and they could create an understanding of who is expected to do what, how are we going to operate as a one team. That can be also put into the team charter. So identify the strength, be flexible about it, continuously keep looking at it, because we need to organize ourselves so that we make best use of our strength. That's the first part of this enabler, which is saying empowering team members and stakeholders. So that's the first part. The second part, determine the best of levels of decision making authority. Sometimes also get confused in the understanding perspective. So say we do want to create self-organizing team. That's the whole idea. But we need to understand that there are decisions which may need to be made at a different level. There are decisions which are made by a team member. So if I am working on a particular area, if I want to change a little bit of style, I should be able to make some decisions without even talking to anyone. I should be empowered as an individual. But there are some decisions which I cannot take myself. I need to consult with my team. Yeah. So we need to understand which decision I can take, which team I need to consult with my team. Maybe there could be some decisions which I need to consult with project manager. Maybe some decisions project manager has to consult and the whole team has to consult with the governance group. There could be some decisions if you are working against the contract which may go even to the client level. You may not be able to change some technology or something till the time your contract supports that. So the idea here is we want to empower team, we want to empower stakeholder in order to ensure right understanding and managing expectation with each other. And in order to do that, as a part of our agreement, working agreement, may be documented in a team charter or maybe put into RACI metrics or roles and responsibility or in a contract or maybe in a communication management plan or a governance plan, we need to have a clarity what our decisions can be taken at a team level or a team member level. I wish maximum decisions can be taken at this level. That is my goal as a project manager, because it makes things faster, especially the decisions which are related to the implementation approach. How oriented decisions are taken at a team level. Team may not be able to decide what is the right requirement, what is the right priority of the requirement. They need to work with stakeholder or someone else. There are other type of groups, but team should be able to decide, should we do this work this time and the another work tomorrow? Who is the best person inside this particular team to do this particular job? So we need to have an understanding what are the levels of decision making, and that's the idea which is recommended to a project manager. So as a project manager, when you are facilitating team charter creation, when you are facilitating the understanding of who does what, you need to also clarify the levels of decision making. You may need to identify some of the escalation triggers also, where the team need to come to you or come to at another level. Now, there is no recommendation from PMP exam perspective. We need to see the question and we need to see that, yes, there is an empowerment, but there will be some constraint which will make us go at another level. So we empower by clarifying the boundaries, by clarifying the decision-making levels or authorities, and that's the second enabler of it. So by way of organizing people on strength, by making them clear about where they can take decisions on their own, where they need to consult someone else, I am creating an environment for empowerment. Yeah, so that's the first two subtasks. The final two subtasks of this particular task is support team task accountability and evaluate demonstration of task accountability. So let's understand these two things. So the idea here is we help the team to figure out who does what. They can identify the strength and organize themselves. They know what kind of decisions they are able to make, what kind of decision they need to go to someone else. After that, the team should have a clear sense of accountability at a team level and as well as at an individual level, because things need to get done, and there has to be clear sense of clarity that yes, this is what we need to get it done. So as a project manager, I need to ensure that there is a clear understanding of accountability. So how do I ensure that? I ensure that people are clear about the goal, where we are heading towards. If we have a clear understanding of the project values, shared understanding, the goal, the why part is clear, the people have a clarity about role. Now, it is not necessary that you created this clarity. It might be that you supported that clarity when people were organizing around strength, but now they understand who is expected to do what. There could be overlap of roles, but there is a clarity where are the overlaps as well. And when we are doing planning, when we are doing things, there is a complete engagement of the team. So what does it mean? The team is engaged when they are doing planning. Team is engaged when they are finding out the design approaches. Team is engaged to review the work, how it is going, so that I am engaged. I am the one who has created it. I also own it. I have a more accountability about it. So that's something I need to be a project manager to support it. I need to ensure that team is involved in planning and estimation. That's the important things in order to create accountability in the team. We may have a clear understanding of performance goals. So performance goals can be there at a team level. Performance goals can be there at a team member level as well. In general, as a project manager, I give more importance to team level performance goal, and the second focus comes to an individual member performance goal. As we discussed in our previous sections, whenever we are working with a performance goal, these are collaboratively made, and we need to track them with the help of feedback. Yeah? So I need to have an understanding. I need to have a first engagement, clarity about what we are doing, common understanding of our goal, and then with the engagement we identify this is how things will get done, and then we track them. We put a performance goal against it, and if things are not working, we take a feedback on it. Yeah, we may do retrospective and reviews. And overall, if someone or a team requires an improvement, I may do a team level coaching. I may facilitate team member levels mentoring and coaching as well. So we need to ensure that people are understanding their accountability, they are engaged enough, and they are achieving the business delivery. So we need to balance the tone and urgency, because the sense of urgency for business delivery and clarity about the accountability of business delivery is also one of the objective of project managers' task. So I need to create that sense of urgency and clarity about the delivery as well. Now, in order to achieve this, I also need to have, that's a subtask of it, how do we display, how do we make this thing transparent about the accountability of the task? How can I identify who is working on that task and by when it will get done, and whom can I contact if I have to talk about it? So there should be a clarity about it. So we need to use maybe probably a frequent meetings. We may use some information radiators. We may have a understanding of open communication channel, so that we demonstrate the task accountability to all the team members, and then we need to take a continuous feedback as well. Now, some tools and technique. Yes, you can use team charter to clarify the task accountability. You can use retrospective meetings or a lesson learned meeting to take a feedback on task accountability and how things are happening. In order to demonstrate task accountability, you can use daily stand-up. Yeah, you can use Kanban board in case of adaptive way of working. In case of predictive way of working, you may have a Gantt chart which shows who is expected to work where, and so that people can understand this is my accountability and I will be hold accountable for it, and we need to talk about it if something is going wrong, and we need to improve it so that at some point in time we start meeting our stakeholder and client expectations. So these are the 4 small subtasks of this particular task called empower team members and stakeholders. Yeah, I understand this is pretty much interlinked with the leadership role, and it's kind of reiteration of something which we have already discussed sometime, but I think nice way to summarize and relate to this particular topic. Yes, people domain has a good repetition, but I think that's the value. It makes the things a little easy for you to prepare for your PMP exam. Yeah. Okay, so I stop sharing and we can talk about probably first about these questions. Yeah, these topics. If you have a specific query related to this particular task, I probably handle that. And after that, we can get into open conversation related to our PMP exam preparation. Yeah. So I hold for a while. I see there is a question related to Scrum Master demand. We probably brainstorm about it. But before that, I just hold on for a while to see if we have any query related to our task accountability topic. No? Okay. Then I probably talk about this. So, what is the demand for the Scrum Master role now? 2 years back, there was a huge demand. So, yeah, it's less. That is pretty obvious. Now, how much less? 50% or 60%? Difficult to put the number. But yes, it is less. How can I say so? We used to get a lot of people who were preparing to get a Scrum Master job because they were seeing a lot of possibilities before and they were sharpening their skills to get there. But nowadays, that count has reduced because people are not that much motivated to transition to Scrum Master job. That much I can see. And what I see in our customer base that the Scrum Master job is sometime is people are looking for project management skills along with the Scrum Master job. And that's why we see more and more people who were doing pure Scrum Master before are learning project management. That's something we see here. And we also see that people are also getting ready and attracted towards product ownership and product management role. So I see many of our Scrum Masters are learning about user stories and sharpening their skills into product discovery space as well. So I can say that pure Scrum Master skills are probably relatively less in demand. Again, if you have great skills, you can find the appropriate position for you even in the less demand. But yeah, if we scale into a previous way, yes, the number is little less. Okay, so this is what we wanted to talk today. I see if we have any follow-up query before we start concluding. So if you are watching this, you can probably put your query in the form of text, either on YouTube or in the LinkedIn. It will reach us and then we talk about it. Okay, looks like today we have little less query. I wait for another 60 seconds maybe. Is there any defined PMP training for full-time engineer? FT, if I learn that? Uh, so I'm not getting the question right. So if first is that FT means full-time engineer, yeah, if that is, or you are saying full-time employees, yeah, then it's a different. But the overall is that the PMP trainings are there and we do run that. We have okay, RT. Okay, so I got it, FT, RT. So in the form of scaled agile, the release train engineer is a multi-team facilitation role. It is not a project management role. In a scaled agile, we don't have a projects. The safe way of working is by default is not a project way of working. Yeah. But many organizations, especially when they work with outsourced vendors, so say I am the client, I am running safe implementation, I'm a bank, and I have a vendor and I want to take set of teams from the vendor and have some facilitator who takes care of those set of teams, or I need to work with them in the form of extended part of my organization or my release train. So there is a possibility I may have a 10 teams in my release train, agile release train, but out of that, 7 teams are coming from a one vendor and maybe 3 teams are coming from another vendor. Now that vendor might be running those 7 teams work as a project. Yeah. And if that vendor does that, then that vendor may need a project manager. Maybe they call that guy whatever they want, but actually then you need a project manager. But if you are working in a safe style, pure safe style, where you are the bank, you have 10 teams, you are working as a release train engineer, then you don't have an end date in mind. You don't have various project reportings need. What you need to do is continuous facilitation, grooming, refinement of facilitating refinement of work with the help of product management, product owners, ensuring dependencies are taken care, ensuring the teams are following agility. And that is, yeah, some skills can come from a PMP space, but that is not a PMP focus area. So release train engineer, the skilled agile has a program called safe release train engineer, though it's a relatively 3 days program and you can achieve it a little faster, unlike PMP certification, but that's the program. If you want to build more skills for release train engineer, I think looking at a coaching, agile coaching is a good idea. Learning about Kanban, yeah, getting some KMP1, KMP2 kind of program is a great idea, because one has to understand Scrum and Kanban deeply in order to facilitate things in a safe manner, because safe assumes a lot of knowledge about Scrum and Kanban in the role called release train engineer. Yeah, so PMP is not designed for release train engineer. My recommended certificate, definitely you can go for RT, but if you don't want to spend that much money, you can go for safe advanced Scrum Master, because that is also branded by Skilled Agile as like aspirational release train engineer certificate that one can do. And then look for, if you don't have Scrum knowledge, maybe look for certification or a book knowledge of Scrum, then look for deep understanding of Kanban with certification or without certification, and then may read some of the product development books like Product Development Flow and all. That's it. Yeah, that's all you need to do rather than doing PMP certification for release train engineer. So hi, I can't get your name. Somehow LinkedIn is not showing your name here, but you can go ahead, type your query if you have something here, probably which I can assist in. So we do offer training for agile coaching. We do run ICP ACC program, which is an agile coaching program. I do personally myself. We also run IC Agile CAT program, which is on transformation, coaching agile transformation. So we do run. And we also have a program for pure coaching, which is ICF ACC. And we also run KMP1, KMP2. We do all the, whatever I have spoken, we do all this. Yeah. Okay, so I have already worked in a PMO reporting and then Scrum Master. I want to take PMP exam. However, I do not have a real-time project management experience. Although I have done PMO reporting and audit, is it difficult for someone like me to clear PMP? And then what is, and now that we are in Agile, so PMP exam based on waterfall or Agile approach. So one by one, first is PMP required some amount of leading and directing experience, facilitating experience in the projects, and Scrum Master role can qualify for it. So if you have been doing Scrum Master job, you are doing agile delivery leadership, you can perfectly qualify to give the PMP exam as an application. Now let's look at the preparation part of it. So preparation part, maybe you will take a little bit more time to prepare the predictive life cycle and some of the complicated scenarios of predictive life cycle. But right now the exam is agile and people domain. People domain is very much aligned with agile. Though officially speaking, 50% of the PMP exam is agile, but people observe it looks like 60 to 70% PMP exam is agile, because the way we work with individuals, peoples, motivate them, that is basically agile way of working. There is no predictive way of working with people anymore. Yeah. So people domain is more or less agile and agile. So overall, if you have a good understanding of agile and how do we work in the agile with people and facilitate and motivate them, then you are already very near to achieving the PMP certification. So I would advise, especially if you have some amount of PMO experience as well, which means you are good with the data, you are playing with matrices, you understand overall monitoring part of it, you understand overall compliance part of it. So your compliance experience, your monitoring experience, your metrics experience, metrics collection and presentation experience, plus the Scrum experience and understanding of Scrum fundamental makes you perfectly ready for doing PMP certification. And we have a program which is not just limited to exam. We give you a lot of video content which can help you in getting ready for your future job as well. And then you take practice tests. We have a live classes which takes you through the whole journey. And many people achieve good career transitioning after doing PMP certification with us. So you can check it out. We have a website where you can find program details. I think within 2 weeks, we are starting one class as well. So hopefully it answers those things. So I worked as a product specialist and recently got laid off. What certification is good for me? Okay. So what I'm understanding is product specialist, which means that you have been doing requirement analysis, you have been identifying product features and understanding which feature should be done first, some kind of prioritization. And if that is the case, then you need to look for your current competencies. So maybe you make a list of the things which you did before, yeah, and then see those things on the job portal and see what kind of a roles are suiting to you. My default understanding is my default exact roles and responsibility. You need to figure it out. Probably you will target product ownership role. Maybe probably you will target business analysis role. So first I sit on the job portal and identify what kind of role I am targeting. And once I identify that, say I identify the product ownership role, then I go to the job portal again and I search deep into that particular roles and responsibility and competency the websites are asking for it. Yeah. And probably there I will see some recommended knowledge and some certifications visible. And once I see that, those are the certification I need to focus on. So probably if you are working in a safe environment or if you target to work in a scaled agile environment, you may see safe POPM pretty frequently. And once you get into the further detail, yeah, probably you also find out if you are working in a Scrum based world, you may also find out CSPO. So from my side, I'm giving you two keywords like CSPO and POPM, safe POPM. But I recommend you, especially when you are making your decisions very, very carefully because of the situation, probably you need to do a little homework and find the right answer for you. By default, CSP and POPM looks good. Job portal should guide you the right competencies needed for your future role. Okay, so is there any training you offer for a beginner understanding the release pipeline, CI/CD pipeline, release process, testing, stage gates, etc., etc.? The answer is yes. Basic understanding of all these we cover. We call a program called Industry Enabled Scrum Master. So where we explain you all these terms and techniques. So you probably want to check that on our website. It's a basic thing which we do for the Scrum Masters who want to get into Scrum and never worked in those environments, so they get vocabulary and some exposure of these things. Exact thing will depend upon organization to organization, but that's a one program which covers these things in a manner. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Dusit. If I'm pronouncing it right, yeah, Dushit, I guess, yeah. Go ahead if you have something to share here. Okay, so it takes little time before the question appears to me. I know you type it and it takes little delay before I can see it. But yes, I am holding on in case you have something. Anyone, please just put it here. And I hope the previous questions are answered. If something is not clear, please post it again. So could you reference some good references for PGMP? So unfortunately, I have not done much investigation in PGMP. I don't know any direct trainer who have, and especially having a clear recommendation from our customer segment. Not yet, yeah, not yet done. So sorry for that. No recommendation for PGMP as of now. So in our website, there is an industry enabled Scrum Master. That's the program name. Yeah, we call it. I will share the link here only so that you can directly go for it. It is meant for the Scrum Masters who want to go for career transitioning. So here is the link. Probably you will see it in your YouTube comment itself. ISN. Okay, so looks like we are settling down. Let's see if something else is needed, else we close the session. So I am hoping, does it give an in-depth drive to Jira too? Yes, it contains Jira. That is the whole idea. We give good exposure to the Jira because Jira is need to be understood if you want to get ready for your Scrum Master job. Release train engineer is, I think, 2-3 level more than Scrum Master. So people usually who have been working into project management and Scrum Master job for a while, they go for release train engineer job. It's more bigger facilitation because you are more accountable for facilitating 100 people team with the help of various Scrum Masters. So it goes into further level, but yes, Jira is part of it. And yes, you can connect with us, drop us an email. We will share the whole program and explain you. If that thing is working for you, you go for it. We also have some videos on our YouTube channel on Jira. I think more than 25, if I'm not wrong. And there is a first video which explains you how can you create your free account on Jira and get started. That's a good thing to do if someone wants to learn Jira. You just need to search our Eisenbridge Plays videos and yeah, get started. But yes, that program is basically designed to support you in that manner. Yes. See if I can share the list of our playlist of our Jira related stuff. If I can find that out while I am live here. Yes, it is with me. So let me share the link here. I don't know how to do that. So I'm sharing the first link, and that probably will help you to navigate to the second link. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I understand. Yeah. Okay, great. So I think we covered good content. Yeah. And it is settling down. Little slow week this week. So now, just to give a recap, that the whole idea is picking up some of our exam content outline tasks and dig them deeper so that you get an understanding of the ECU, exam content outline, more than just the PMBOK 6 or PMBOK 7. And we also started running kind of daily polls on our social media platform, LinkedIn as well as YouTube, especially for PMP certification. So if you are preparing for PMP, you may want to follow us and participate on those polls. Most of the time after 24 hours or something, I also end up making a small video explaining the result of that particular poll or answering the right answer. So if you are in a serious preparation space for PMP, probably you want to follow our social media platform and stay connected. Yes, some of the topics we can discuss in this session. Maybe after some time we start discussing those poll questions also in this session. We'll see how things goes. But as of now, I'm sticking to my current format where I'm picking ECO and continuing with it. Great. I think thank you everyone. Yeah. Thank you for participation. See you next week.